I don't know about you, but the fact that 2020 is coming to an end makes me feel very fresh. And with this fresh feeling, I felt like it was a good time to talk about the freshest songs that I heard this year. This is entirely my opinion, and this is entirely based on the songs that I heard. There's a lot of music that I did hear, a lot of music that I didn't hear. I was somehow simultaneously really productive this year and also really lazy this year. I think it was just the fact that I had so much time because, you know, I couldn't do anything. This is gonna be a top 7 because there were 7 songs that I felt like I really wanted to talk about, 7 songs that I just thought were really fresh. So number 7, this is a candidate for most underrated song of the year, in my opinion. It's Friends by Jen Bello. I honestly don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but the song is absolutely killer. All the vocal melodies are super catchy. They're really straightforward and simple, but there's something distinctly modern about them. It's hard to put my finger on what that is. I feel like a lot of what I've done this year has been listening through different eras of popular music, and you can really tell that a melody was written in a certain time period. Like, it has a certain sound to it that's like, oh yeah, that's totally a 70s pop melody. It's hard to like put into words what actually makes that sound like that. But anyway, these vocal melodies all over this track, the verses, the pre-chorus, the chorus, all of it is just early 2020s, you know, the era that we're in right now. It's not, you know, crazy, like cutting edge, something totally brand new and out of the blue. It's just, you know, kind of an R&B pop type of song that's very modern and done extremely well. At number 6, I have Mirage by Jessie Ware. Now this album, I actually didn't hear about it until like a few days ago. I watched Fantano's top 50 albums and I was like, damn, he really likes this album. I guess I should check it out. Yeah, I was not disappointed. I could pretty much put any of the songs on that album on this list in this spot. I kind of wanted to limit it to 1 song per artist just to like make things more interesting, but the whole album is just super duper fresh. There was definitely a trend of throwback music this year. There were definitely some songs that were entirely throwback. They were just completely would have fit in the 70s or in the 80s, kind of those periods that we were throwing back to. But the songs that were the most interesting were ones that were clearly heavily influenced by past eras of music, but we're also doing things that are new and fresh. And this song definitely fits into that description. It's got a lot of very kind of modern production flares and interesting little sound bites that kind of come in. They kind of swell all around underneath this very reverby, warm, kind of washy vocal sound. Yeah, the whole thing just grooves so hard. That bass line is just so round and just pure sounding. I really, really like it. This hook is absolutely killer. The chorus, oh my God. And I mean, the verse is also a hook in and of itself. That second chorus where it starts without the drums and then the drums come in. Whew, absolutely love this song. One of my favorites. Number 5 is also a candidate for most underrated song. It's called You Feel It Too by Airports. Like the Jen Bello song, this only has like, I think less than 20,000 views on YouTube. I'd say the only flaw with this song really is the production. I mean, it's kind of thin. I don't want to like talk bad about production because like I totally get it. Like I've been working on an album and just the difficulty that goes into producing an album, producing a song, really trying to make it sound big. It's insanely hard to do. I can't fault a song for having kind of thin production. That being said, the choices made in terms of arrangement, songwriting choices, everything is absolutely top-notch. I love the hook on this song. It's very chill and kind of relaxed and soft, but there's a really deep emotion behind it. You can tell there's a lot of passion that went into writing it, and that's such an important aspect of any song. Clearly this guy has a pretty unique sound. I need to listen to more of his songs. I just saw he came out with a bunch more songs this year after this one, so I'll have to go check those out, but I really do like this song. The little sounds that come in here and there, there's kind of a vocal thing that goes like da-na. Definitely unique in its style and the way that it's presented. Number 4 is For the People in the Back by Role Model. I love a song that just feels like an introduction to an artist, you know? Part of that might just be that this was the first song I heard from Role Model. It just feels like you get to know the guy right away. And the song is just fantastic. The beat is so great. I love the chord progression. It's kind of unexpected in a way. It's not very typical, but it really works for this song. And the production is clearly really high level. Everything is very clear, really wide. And the song just has a kind of swagger to it. It's very confident, just slightly cocky, but not so cocky that it makes you annoyed or bothered by it at all. It's sort of a charming cockiness. There's just a lot of creative energy behind it. That's something I always like to think about, is how much thought was put into this song. How inspired is this song? Is this just something that was kind of forced out, or is this really a strong idea that the artist had and put a lot of energy and focus into making it as good as possible? It definitely has a lot of that. Number 3 is Chicken Tenders by Dominic Fike. Damn, I love this song. The little swelling organ part, I think that's an organ. I sometimes have a hard time being able to tell what instruments are what. I totally love that. There's a little break that happens a couple times where it's just that part and then some percussion that's kind of dazzling back and forth all around, and then vocals on top of that. It's so fun and danceable. The vocals are mixed so well. I really love the whole sound of this song. You can really tell that there's very purposeful production here. Like, it wasn't just sitting down and getting all the parts together and then let's just make them sound good. The production was kind of a part of the songwriting. At least it sounds like that to me. And yeah, this song is really just unlike anything I've ever heard before. There's two very distinct, different genres really kind of being pushed together, and they kind of take turns with each section of the song. It really shouldn't fit together, but it totally does. Also, the music video is fantastic. I have no idea how they did it. I mean, if you watch it, it's like he's like walking around, but he's also like falling like through a void, and like all these crazy things are happening in the background. I have absolutely no idea how they made it, but it's really entertaining, and it weirdly fits the music really well. There are still 2 songs that I liked more, that I thought were more fresh than Chicken Tenders by Dominic Fike. Number 2 is Yesteryear by Cosmo's Midnight. I heard this song pretty early in the year, and I still think it's the most fun song that I heard all year. One of the most fun songs I've ever heard in my life. This thing is so freaking groovy. The bass line is ridiculous. It's all over the place, and just the whole time it has this syncopation, this kind of behind the beat quality to it that just gets you moving. If you listen to this song and you don't want to move around, I don't really know what to say to you. I mean, this is about as groovy as it gets right here. Definitely a throwback song, but overall this has a more modern feel to it, and the groove is just so good, and the whole time it's just constantly pushing forward, moving you to the next part. There really isn't a second of this song that isn't super exciting. I love the production on here. I love that they get away with putting a lot of reverb on the vocals, and it still manages to be groovy. That's something that I've run into. If I put too much reverb on a song, then it starts to kind of lose the groove, but that's not a problem here. And yeah, the hook, the vocal harmonies, everything just comes together and just gives you so much energy when you listen to it. All right, I still have one more. This is, in my opinion, the freshest song that I heard all year. I thought this song was completely unlike anything I've ever heard. It kind of blew my mind the first time I listened to it, and it kind of has blown my mind in a new way every time I've listened to it since. That song is Delete Forever by Grimes. Grimes, I guess I sort of got into this year. I ended up listening to Miss Anthropocene, which I think is probably my favorite album of the year. And I listened to, I can't remember what her album, I think it was in like 2015, 2014. I can't remember what that album was called, but her more like poppy album. I listened to that one and liked it a lot. It's funny, this song is really different from what seems to be typical of her as an artist. I don't know what the inspiration was. I don't know how it happened, but I'm really glad that it did, because everything about this song is absolutely gorgeous. And the production is so interesting. It's unexpected. The things that happen are really not what you'd expect to happen in a song like this, or any song period. It's kind of amazing how she builds this fantastic song out of such a simple chord progression, just this really simple strumming guitar. You know, she mixes the vocals in her kind of typical Grimes way, and then all these other parts that come in, these things that, like I said, you just wouldn't expect to hear in a song like this. They come in and it totally works. I love the vocal melodies. Again, kind of unexpected in the choices that are made. I come into a song and I'll be hearing like what way the melody's going, and I'm thinking, okay, here's where I want it to go. And typically I like songs where it goes where I want it to go, you know what I mean? But this song doesn't. Instead, it goes to places that I didn't even know I wanted it to go. And it's even better when that happens. All the little parts that come in, there's little plucky parts. I love any kind of plucked string, any kind of thing that kind of is there for decoration. There's this really great, I think it's either a violin or a cello, one of those. and it comes in at the end. There's a big solo and there's tons of reverb everywhere. It sounds so huge, as if you're out in the emptiness of space, just floating around. And really every part is kind of like that. This whole song has such a hugeness about it, even though it's relatively subtle in terms of the songwriting. There's this section after the chorus where the vocals are doing kind of a remixy sort of repeating effect. It kind of reminds me of a lot of dance pop songs. Again, something that just would not be expected in this type of song. Then again, I say this type of song, but it's like, what type of song is it? I can't even really say. Yeah, I'm impressed with the song every time I listen to it. It's very strange in its own way, but at its core, it's a very simple song. You know, if I sat down with a guitar and I just sang it, it would seem very straightforward and simple, but it's really the production that brings it to another level. Not that the song isn't great in terms of songwriting, it is. It's one of the most well-written songs I heard this year. But the production, the choices that are made with the arrangement, that's really what brings it to this totally transcendent sort of level that makes it, for me, easily the most fresh song of the year. And that's it. That's my top 7 list. I was kind of thinking I would, be a little more comedic about it, but I guess, sometimes when I'm talking about songs that I like, I just get really into it and I sort of forget what I'm doing. Let me know what you thought the freshest songs of the year were. Were these songs fresh for you? Are they spoiled and rotten and even stale? Let me know. For the sake of shameless self-promotion, I also put out some songs this year. None of them are nearly as fresh as these songs that I just mentioned, but I would be really grateful if you were to check them out. I've been working a lot on my production skills and my songwriting skills and my singing skills. All that stuff is really difficult for me, so I'm trying to get better at it, especially the production side of things. And as you can tell, the things that I talk about, a lot of it has to do with production because that's just kind of where my head has been at this year. I'd be really grateful if you checked out any of my music. I'm gonna have a link to a song that I put out recently. Tell me what you think. Do you think it's super sick? Do you think it's super whack? Tell me your honest opinion. And I think that's all I have to say. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Give it a dislike if you didn't like it. Thanks for watching. I will see you at some point in the future.
Far away, it's a place I got to be every time. And